So I'm going to be diving into why young people and a lot of other people choose not to vote and why they're so disenfranchised with politics and potentially, current affairs in general. I think one of the most major contributing things to why there's a low voter turnout amongst young people and potentially others as well is the complete lack of political education in a lot of schools at all. So our curriculum doesn't have politics in there, and I think there should be a massive reform on what we teach younger people at school, from politics to taxes and far more important things that are just completely left out, and you're just cast into the world and you have to work this stuff out yourself, which I just don't agree with. So many people, especially young people of course, probably feel underprepared and completely disengaged in the political scene due to a complete lack of knowledge about the political system and the voting process in general. For example, a study conducted by XYZ University, which is a company that helps other companies engage more of their younger members of staff, revealed that over 60% of young adults between the ages of 18 and 25 couldn't correctly identify the three branches of government. So for those of you that don't know, the three branches of government are judiciary, executive, and legislation. Okay, so the lack of basic knowledge about things like that can lead to feelings of confusion and complete disinterest in participating in any sort of democratic process. Another significant reason is the perceived irrelevance of one's vote, which I think is actually probably the biggest. So some young people and others just believe that their own vote, their own voice won't make a difference, or that politicians are just detached from their own concerns. And if everyone thinks that way, then it just spreads like a wildfire and leaves a massive hole in the voter pool. Just imagine if out of 1 million people, 600,000 of those people choose not to vote because they think that their vote doesn't matter. I'm just one person. Then there's only 400,000 left to vote. And what if all those 400,000 all vote for something that you hate? Then you just can't really complain about it. So when I say that a lot of people think that politicians are completely detached from their concerns, what I mean by that is, to put in an anecdote, imagine there's a 21-year-old university student who's passionate about climate change, and so they might feel discouraged because they believe that regardless of who they vote for, the government won't ever make meaningful change and actions on the issues, hence why we have people throwing themselves in front of cars and throwing cans of beans on paintings and whatnot, because the sense of disillusionment can just lead to complete voter apathy and just a reluctance to engage in the electoral process, which is of course voting. Another significant factor, I think, is socioeconomic factors. So there's probably a lower voter turnout amongst poorer people, working class people in poverty, because of maybe that lack of access of transportation to get to the polling booths, and maybe limited time due to work. They probably have to work a lot, have family responsibilities, they have kids, they potentially have to care for another individual. So consider you've got John, who's a working class citizen who has a job or two jobs who has to support his family with, and he has long working hours and can't get to the polling booth because he's busy, and maybe he gets home from work and he's just so knackered that he just can't put the importance of it or the time of it to actually get down to the polling station and cast his vote. So I think implementing new measures such as flexible voting hours, maybe expanding the access to how you vote, or providing transportation for poorer areas to actually get to the polling booth and vote, could definitely encourage broader participation in that bracket of people. Another huge one is of course people that are just not interested in politics because of the negative campaigning and just polarizing nature of politics. I think definitely contributes to voter apathy. So the confrontational tone, the verse rhetoric, and the general shit slinging, and the joke that at least our political system has been in recent years. We've been through 6 prime ministers, or maybe more, I can't even remember. This can make people feel completely disillusioned and or overwhelmed with what's going on at all, and just completely alienate them from the whole process. A lot of research has shown that negative campaigning does decrease voter turnout, particularly among young people, of course. So to counter this, I think political leaders should focus on issue-based discussions and promoting constructive dialogue and fostering a sense of unity rather than one of divisiveness. I think something that I'm definitely going to be doing on this channel is breaking down arguments from both the left and the right, and not just taking hard stances on everything and saying, oh, if you're on that side, then you're a commie, or you're a Marxist, and if you're on that side, then you're a Nazi, and you're bigoted, and you hate migration and all sorts. I think that's totally ridiculous. I think by highlighting shared values and common goals, we can create a more valued and inclusive political landscape that encourages participation from everyone, no matter what their background or what their political alignment is. So going back, I think disillusionment with political institutions and leaders is another key factor contributing to a low voter turnout. The amount of scandals and corruption and complete lack of accountability over the last few years, especially in the UK, of course, probably completely erodes trust and confidence in any sort of democratic process, especially when we had, I've completely lost count of how many we've had which have got in without a general election. It's preposterous. The huge amount of instances of political corruption, or the perception that politicians prioritize personal gain over public welfare, which I think they don't hide very well in a lot of cases, can leave people feeling disheartened and skeptical about the impact of their own vote. So I think to rebuild trust and transparency and ethical leadership is crucial. And I think returning politics to being this serious thing and not the song and dance it's been over the last few years is incredibly important. Additionally, initiatives that can demonstrate that the direct impact of civic engagement on policy decisions can help restore faith in the political system. For example, if a lot of people are campaigning for a meaningful change in X thing, and it eventually actually gets pushed through by a political party, it can encourage people to do it again because they can see that them doing that actually makes a difference. So those, I think, are some of the main reasons why we see such a low voter turnout, especially among younger people. And I think it's clear that a combination of factors, including the lack of political education, I think we need educational reform, especially in subjects that we study and what kids are taught at school. I think that the perceived irrelevance of one's own vote is a huge one, one that I personally see the most. Socioeconomic barriers, like I talked about, people can't get there, people are too busy, so we need to open up ways that you can vote and make it easier for people to vote, which I know a lot of people don't want to happen, of course, obviously being the politicians themselves. The negative campaigning and of course the disillusionment with political institutions all contribute to the voter apathy. So hopefully we can address all of these challenges through a lot of comprehensive civic education, creating a sense of relevance and reminding people that their vote matters, removing the socioeconomic barriers and fostering constructive dialogue, and rebuilding trust, and then we can cultivate a more engaged society and a friendlier society as well. So if you can take away one thing from this video, please remember that your voice matters, your vote matters, and if you're someone that thinks that their vote doesn't matter, and among with so many others, it spreads like COVID or like an STD at a university, and just creates a bigger and bigger web of people that believe that way, and leaves a massive hole in the voter pool. And then if change happens that you don't like and you didn't vote for it and you think, oh, it's pointless, then you're part of that problem. Because if you want to see specific change, you need to go out and be that change and get up and vote for the person that's going to bring that. So thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe and turn the bell notification on. It won't just be me talking at the camera in future. However, this is my first video and I'm sure you enjoyed it anyway. However, let me know in the comments down below maybe why you don't vote personally, or someone you know doesn't vote for a reason, or maybe how you've changed people's minds who don't go out and vote. Okay, so thumbs up on the video, and you can follow me on my socials, which I believe are down below here. Thank you very much.